Welcome to the podcast, Wolf and Wisecrack. I'm Wisecrack. I'm Jacob.
I'm Wolf. I'm Ethan.
And we're going to talk a little bit today about whatever we want. Anything that comes to mind.
Enthusiasm in that. I'm Ethan.
Hi, I'm Ethan. This is my AA meeting.
Hello, I'm back for the 19th time.
What are you in for this time?
Okay.
Well, so, how's your day been, Ethan?
It's been good. I went to some places around where I live that I really like, and it's deli.
Then
a different deli, actually. I went to two delis today.
How many delis do you need to go to in one day?
Okay, one has really good stuff for breakfast, so I got that for tomorrow, and one had a sandwich I really wanted tonight, so I got the sandwich.
You're just there robbing the meat section. You just got a bag full of meat as you're leaving. You're like the Grinch for meat. You're just grabbing as much meat as you can.
Stuffing it in my cargo shorts.
You start
sprinting out the door.
You start tempting the sausage links to jump in the bag on their own. You've got a wicked, dastardly smile on your face.
You know that thing when you can get those beads and you throw it out of the jar and it'll just keep pulling itself? It's reverse with the sausage links are just going in the bag.
You don't even plan to eat it. You just want to drop it off the top of a mountain so nobody else can have that meat.
What? One of those big Italian sausages that have the bag on the bottom and they're just draining in the corner and just taking that.
And they say Ethan's meat palate... I have. And they say Ethan's meat palate grew 3 sizes that day.
Oh my gosh, you were doing the Grinch. I'm like, what does he mean the side of a mountain?
Yeah, the Grinch, the thing we've been talking about, I thought.
I was just talking about meat, dude. I didn't know you were talking about the Grinch.
Sorry, I know how those two subjects can get easily confused.
Shut up.
Remember how the Grinch cooked the... You know what? Never mind. We need to get off the Grinch topic. We've got other things to discuss.
Welcome to the Grinch Podcast.
Welcome to the Grinch Podcast. My name is Grinch.
What is it? Max. I'm Max.
The dog. You would be the dog.
What else do you want me to be? The mayor of Whoville?
Cindy Lou.
No, Eli is Cindy Lou.
Oh, yeah, he is. Well, I mean, that's fun. At least you got out of the house today. You want to know what I did today? The only time I left my house today was to go to McDonald's.
It's a good thing.
I left my house, I got McDonald's, I covered up so the sun wouldn't touch my skin.
Why?
Because I didn't feel like changing clothes, so I'm just, whatever I slept in, I woke up and I'm like, I could really go for some McDonald's. So I go downstairs and there's no food, so I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to McDonald's. So I drive all the way there, and they know me now. I'm a McDonald's man. I've got the app. They call me Jacob. It's perfect. They just hand me my food and go. Except whoever was I didn't recognize her. Whoever was at the window today tried to hand me a water, and I'm like, no, I had sweet tea. And she's like, it says water on here. I'm like, I know my order. And then I get to thinking, I'm like, did I accidentally order water? And I'm like, they're the same price. Just give me whatever. And so she makes the sweet tea and hands it to me. I look at the receipt and I did order a water. How did I mess up my meal that I order all the time?
What do you get?
Well, with the McDonald's app, that's our sponsor for today. No, it's not. There's a deal right now. I can get 2 medium fries.
This podcast already sponsored by McDonald's.
First episode, we got McDonald's. We got our meal coming out soon. More adult toys. That stuff's sick.
The BTS meal.
But I usually get the 2 medium fry deal where I get a 20-piece chicken nugget and then 2 medium fries for free and then just a drink. And that's my lunch breaks from work and days like today where I've just got no food available.
That doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah, processed chicken. Woo.
A lot of freaking fries. That's all you eat is processed freaking chicken.
That's all that's good for you.
And a big bowl of sweet tea.
Big old bowl of sweet tea.
Sweet tea out of a bowl.
We break out the punch bowl that we use every Christmas. We wash it once, and then we just pour some sweet tea in there. We actually just get the regular tea, and then we pour a gallon of sugar in there as well.
We leave the leaves in there, and they just, over the years, we got leaves from
we let it ferment in the basement for about 30 minutes.
Gosh, dude.
I can smell it wafting up from the air vents.
It's ready.
There's a little timer that dings. It's like the smoke alarm of the house. So I've got a good idea. I think I'm going to describe why you're Wolf, and you can describe why I'm Wisecrack. So we can either really mess this up, or we can get it correct on all aspects. So Ethan is a wolf. Yeah. Ethan is a wolf because when I first met him, his gamer tag was Black Wolf. And as cringy as that is, it amounts nothing to the amount of cringe he is now. So I just...
Take a day off.
He's more of a coyote than a wolf, but he's burly like a wolf. And he's vicious. And he's hungry. All the time he's hungry. And I see Ethan as a dog that I could take to the park and he'd have a good time. So yeah, that's why Ethan's the wolf.
What was that?
That's why you're the wolf.
You called me a wolf, a coyote, a dog.
You're a canine in all form of the word.
You just said I'm like a coyote, but he's like wolf, and explained why I'm like a wolf.
You're like a coyote because you're like weaker than a wolf. You're like the poor man's wolf.
Buddy. Such a jerk. Alright, why Jacob's a wisecrack is the same explanation of what he just gave. He makes no frickin' sense. Ever since I met him, he's been able to make jokes about as fast as I can. And it's not even fun anymore. The spark is gone.
Was there a spark to begin with?
There was when you were singing Cascada the night we met.
Oh. Do it again.
That's a story.
I'll do it again.
As we get copyright strikes. Well, but no, you are wisecrack mainly for this personality of you, as you are very fast with jokes and a wisecrack in itself, honestly.
Wow. Look how wholesome.
I don't know how to follow up what you just said. I'm like a coyote. He is open all season. That did not go the way I wanted that to sound.
All right, listen here, Bob.
I meant because coyotes are always allowed to be hunted because of the freaking law of the overpopulation and all that stuff. But anyway, continue.
I honestly want to hear more of what you were going on about. Are we talking about hunting coyotes now?
No, just how coyotes, you can always kill a coyote. You can't like always hunt a deer or
I mean, you can't always just kill you can't just like see a coyote walking the streets and be like, "Oh, well, it's time." Four burly men hop out the back of the truck to like we got him, boys.
Feeding ammo into a machine gun.
We've been tracking this one for months. No, he just wandered out into the road. Nope, that's not what the paper says.
No, but I'm saying, like, how if a deer is, like, in your yard, you can't just shoot it. But if a coyote's out there, like, eating your chicken or your dog or your kids or whatever, you can shoot it.
If a coyote's eating my kids, yes, I'm going to shoot it. If a deer is eating my kids, I'm also going to shoot it.
No, we can't. It's not open season.
It's not. Yep,
it's
you're right.
It's for 3 months. Actually, isn't deer season right now? So right now, you're good.
Is deer season right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
The ones at my house are still small.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to hunt them anyway.
It's to like open your window, take aim in your backyard.
Start
blasting off shots.
I wake up on opening day of deer season the same way I wake up on the first day of school, with a bright smile, a sweater vest, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Makes no sense.
The neighborhood gathers around to watch the first deer drop in the neighborhood.
Could you imagine the chaos? Just all day.
That's the perks of living in Tennessee. Deer season is like a national holiday. I know people that take off of work for the opening day of deer season.
Dude, my friend on his birthday this year was on like when deer season starts. I don't know if it's the same year every year. But he freaking, like, first day, got like the most beautiful buck. It was like a 6-point buck, like gorgeous. And I'm like, that is a birthday gift and a half right there.
Beautiful.
I don't know what that story was, but we're gonna roll with it.
It was
Anyway,
thanks for telling it. Thanks for sharing.
his name is also Ethan.
Okay. I'm glad I got to know that.
Okay, so now I want to explain, so I don't sound like some whatever. The reason I have Black Wolf as my gamer tag is growing up, I don't know why, I was at Disney and I got one of those like Pirates of the Caribbean leather strap bracelet things. And like, what do you want it to say? Instead of picking anything else, I was like, Black Wolf. I had never really decided why, and I think I know why, but it's a whole different thing. But so yeah, and then it became my gamer tag on everything. It's just been my gamer tag until I changed it. And now we're here.
I've got a story similar to that, but a little different. So when I used to play football before I broke my leg, my first year starting out, it was a recreational
Your
league.
leg?
What's that?
You broke your leg?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
Continue.
why. But
oh, okay, that explains everything now. Continue.
But I had to stop playing football. But anyways, I played for our recreational league, and we all were like mimicking NFL teams. So I was on the Cowboys. Ooh, go Dallas Cowboys! But this was the King Sport Cowboys. Love it. And we were we were picking names, and my original name was the Hammer, and I'm like, yeah, because I hammer people into the ground, because I was a defensive player, so my job was to block the ball carrier, so I would just ram myself into people, and that's what I did. But no, the night before, like, we're about to submit those, I'm like, I like the Hammer, but I feel like there's something that describes me better out there. And for some reason, I wasn't paying attention when I learned what position I played during offensive. I'm pretty sure it was offensive. And I played the wingnut position. Nope. I played the tight end position. I just ruined the story. I played the tight end position, and my brain was like not listening. So my dad asked, "What position are you going to play in tomorrow's game?" And I said, "The wingnut position." And he went, "Excuse me?" And I went, "I think it's called wingnut." And he's like, "Where are you at on the field?" I'm like, "I'm on the very end." He's like, "Are you the tight end?" I'm like, that sounds more correct than what I said. And he's like, "What are you thinking? The wingnut position? Do you know what a wingnut is?" I don't know. My brain just thought wingnut. So you know what I told him the next day when we were having to pick nicknames? I said, "Put me down as wingnut." So
Nice.
we get on the field and everybody's got like the Snake or the Rock, and here we go, Jacob Wingnut Stewart. And everybody did like a fun little dance or like trying to look strong right before, like as we're doing walkouts. I just walk out and I put a single hand up and wave and then walk away. Mr. Wingnut himself walks on the field and then walks off like a true champion.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I've never heard that before. Wingnut. What the heck? It's not even close to tight end.
I don't know. I feel like Wingnut somehow got into the conversation with me and the coach, but I might be wrong. I just remember that I just didn't pay attention. I just knew where I was supposed to stand. I didn't know any of the plays. Like, I was the type of football player that was just like, I tackle the ball carrier or I defend the ball carrier. That is all I do. The whole team had plays memorized. They had strategies, and I'm just like, I'm going to go get the ball. And that's what I did for the entirety of my football career. Even into middle school, when I started playing for like a school team, I still didn't know anything, but I was still starting offensive and defensive player as protecting the ball carrier or attacking the ball carrier. So that's all I knew how to do. So people would be like, we're going to run this play. And I'm just like, I'm going to go for the ball. And they're like, yeah, you do that. That's part of the play.
Just picturing you full sprinting towards wherever the ball is.
The second that ball snaps, I am out like lightning. I am after them. It's crazy.
Fucking ridiculous. I'm just wingnut. And tight end. Even I know what a tight end is.
Well, I was a little lad, you know, just my first time ever playing football.
How old were you?
Probably like 10 or 11, maybe.
Okay, that's allowed. If you were like 15,
and I've never been the type to watch a lot of football or anything like that. I just liked it. It was a good workout and it was fun to play. So
yeah, football's fun.
Everybody there was like telling about their favorite teams, and I'm just like, Cowboys, because that's what we were. And that's the only NFL team I knew. I knew the Cowboys and I knew the Titans since we're in Tennessee. That's all I knew.
That's funny. Oh yeah, the Tennessee Titans. I forgot that's where they're at.
Yeah. Whoa, guys! Big reveal. The Tennessee Titans are located in Tennessee.
I just
dude, that's crazy. I never put two and two together.
I'm gonna go scream down a hallway. I never knew they were the Tennessee Titans. I always just knew them as the Titans. So I never knew what their freaking state was, and he said because they're from Tennessee, and I'm like, oh, Tennessee Titans. I've heard that, but didn't think of it. So if you're gonna keep being rude,
I'm gonna keep being rude.
I'm too wisecrack. Go freaking home. Take a day off.
Maybe I will. Well, I've got a fun little game for us to play now. So I've got this random word generator pulled up. So I'm gonna give you a word, and you can pass it if you want. But I'm gonna give you a word, and you got to think of a story from your past based off of that word.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what I can do. Roll the dice. Well, we can get right into bleed if you want to tell a story about the word bleed.
Well, it happened about 13 minutes ago. Nah, it's not that interesting. Skip it.
All right.
It's just the fact that I freaking cut my leg.
Ooh, how about the word trouble?
I've been a good lad in my life.
Have you? You never got in trouble?
I mean, well, there was one.
Oh, was there?
So when I was younger, at the church my grandpa was a pastor of, he had, for people who they had trouble walking or whatever, they had these little carts that you could use just in case, like, say you need help getting into wherever you need to sit or whatever. So he just had them because he used it before when he had surgery when he was younger. Anywho, so it used a key. It was like a bike. It was like you put a key in, you could drive it around. It was fast. Sister and I were driving it. My sister wanted to get off. She got, I forget what. I think her pant loop got stuck on the handle, and we drove straight through one of the glass doors of our church. And I was just like, I don't know what to do.
You came out unscathed from that? Like, not even noticeably.
It didn't drive through it, the front of it. So it's basically like an upside down T. Actually, no, it's like a capital I. So it was like where your feet go, straight up pole that changes the front tire direction, and then little handlebars. So just that went through it and just stopped because the wheel popped and got stuck. My sister got off of it already, and she was just standing there. I was just sitting there and preparing to go through this glass door. And I was just stopped there. I didn't know what to do.
I mean, what can you do?
Picked it up, shook off the glass, put it off to the side, went to my grandpa, and we're like, oh, we're going to go hang out with our grandma because she was at the office that's across the parking lot. We full bolted over there. Then told him. He wasn't mad. He was just like, how did this happen? How did you do that?
How did you bust down the church door?
Weren't too happy about it.
Oh, of course they're not going to be happy about it. You just busted down the church door. What? Now they're going to have to put up they're just going to have to put up a board over top of the church door. Now all the people coming into the church can be like, oh, what happened to the door? Ethan rammed his bike into it. That's what happened to the door.
Ethan hit that thing at 10 miles an hour, and it took it out.
He just kept on going.
Dude,
He didn't even look back. What if instead of just the bike going through, it just left your body outline like you'd see in the old cartoons where somebody runs through a wall? You're just engraved into the door, and they think that you don't say a word to anybody, so now they think this is like this holy thing that just appeared, like the Lord just rammed through this door. This is the outline of the Lord. They're gonna start like worshiping it the next day. It's gonna be up there on the altar, like He left us this sign. Look upon the door with grace. Oh my
dude! If I told you how often those doors would get broken, dude.
By you specifically?
No, not me. Not me. Just randomly, because like, okay, so it's like double doors, so sometimes you'd have to bring in something, like if they were bringing in tables or whatever, so every once in a while you would just see it, and one had like a huge crack and it would be taped off, and it was like a month later it'd get repaired. But it happens so often.
That's just crazy. I feel so bad for the pastor. He's just like, oh, somebody broke the door again. Oh well.
Grandpa, pastor, what am I supposed to do?
Grandpa, I broke the door.
I had to go home with it after that. Wow. And I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm like, dude, I'm about to get shredded through this door, and then it just stopped. I'm like, all right, because I couldn't get it to stop. The handle got jammed.
Oh, that's just unfortunate.
It happened so fast in my mind. I was going like 2 miles an hour. I had every chance to get off. I had every opportunity to just like roll to the side, but I'm like, I'm gonna.
As you're approaching the door, you're just like, nope, I commit. This is happening.
Let's see what happens.
Oh wow, that's perfect.
But no, it was nuts. All right, what about you? What's your word?
Let's see. Accent. I don't think I've got one for accent.
Your sister.
I could talk about
crazy accent.
Lord. So, as we've discussed, I live in Tennessee, and I don't think I carry a southern charm about me. I don't think I've got a very southern lick in my voice, unless I try to, like I am right now.
You're kind of like me, where I kind of have one just from Missouri a little bit, and then living in.
Yeah, I mean,
it comes out when you don't focus, type thing. Because you'll randomly go into like a weird accent.
Oh yeah, if I get mad, I go full on country. I go hick.
I know, it's
like you make me mad, and I'm just all like this. I don't even try to censor the way I talk anymore. I'm just so mad about everything going on in my life. But in just normal speaking, I've completely phased out the country accent for good reason.
Yeah.
And I can't say the same about my sister. She embraces that accent and anything she does. And my family is the same way, where they embrace the accent too, except for my mom for the most part. But the rest of my family is a very bad influence on her, and they talk as country as possible, especially my cousins, because they're still very country, and they still like act very country. And if my sister gets into a conversation with one of my cousins, especially like the country ones, they sound like this the whole time they're talking, and they just kept going, well, over and over and over again. I can't stand it. I can't have a conversation with them because I'll have to ask them, like, what are you trying to tell me? Especially if we got words like, here, how do you say washcloth?
Washcloth. Washcloth.
I mean, washcloth is not great, but at least I understand what you're saying. When my sister revs up and goes, wash rag, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, could you hand me the washcloth? The wash rag? I'm like, no, not that.
You're like some weird foreign exchange student.
And then we got that problem.
All proper and fancy.
Oh, yeah.
Talking like you're in the boonies.
I need to get out of this town. The hicks have come from my voice.
Your name isn't Jacob, it's Jacob.
Jacob.
Like Jacob.
Well,
Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, every person I've interacted with for the most part has that accent around here. And I can't, even my ex-girlfriend had that accent, and I would always be like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. I don't. Like, this, it's a language barrier.
Because you and the rest of, like, in our friend group there, none of you guys talk like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of phased it out at this point. Like, I don't know if it's a part of growing up or just having friends from different parts of the country, but we don't.
Right.
I don't feel in tune with my southern hospitality.
I mean, dude, it's not like we're in that different parts of the world. You're in Tennessee. I'm in West Virginia. Well, it gets pretty southern pretty quick.
We got John Denver singing about this place. Of course, it's pretty southern.
You don't even understand what it's like being at Walmart and that song comes on when I'm working there. It is an ordeal. It is loud.
It's like the national anthem of West Virginia.
Oh, easily, dude.
Just you,
wild and wonderful.
Everybody has to like bow their heads and tip their hats for that song. You just in the Walmart trying to grocery shop, and all of a sudden you hear "Almost Heaven," and then you just see tears streaming down the faces of bypassers. They're on their knees like the rapture is here. They're ready to be ascended to John Denverism.
It's time.
Take a moment of silence for John Denver, please. Well, I've got a good word for you if you're ready to tell another story.
Alright, what is it?
It's shave.
Oh, gosh. Well, I got two, technically.
Okay.
Well, there's that you and Eli shaved my shins. While I was there, you shaved both my shins, and the hair is taking too long to come back. I look so weird. It's short season, dude. I like wearing shorts, and instead I look like a freaking psycho. And then, what else is there? There's the fact of if I shave my beard, I look 14, even though I'm 20. I genuinely don't understand it. Because it's like, it's not like my beard is, like, crazy, just it's not like filling in on like my chin and stuff. But it literally, dude, I shaved my beard off and I looked 14 years old. I looked the exact same as I did when I was 14. I don't know how and I don't know why.
You just come out of the bathroom freshly shaven. Mommy, look! Shiny little. You've just got your oh gosh, you got your finger pressed up to your. You've got your finger pressed up to your cheek, just poking it like, ain't I a pretty boy?
Listening.
Hair down to your ass, and you're still like trying to look all sweet and innocent.
Oh, so you're talking about my hair on my head. I was like, what do you mean?
No, the beard. The beard just, it wraps around.
Yeah. No, if it was that long, I'd be so excited. I want the full hillbilly.
The full hillbilly experience.
I want to go full hillbilly at one point. Sitting on the porch, blowing on a jug. Ain't going, I'm a country boy.
I play the washboard.
Washboard.
Well, I got the next word. We've got storm. And I got a couple storm stories. I feel like the one that I can tell the best is... So, me and Eli, one of our good friends, we go to the beach a lot for vacation and stuff. And we schedule so far in advance to go to the beach that we don't really pay attention to weather or any issues because we've already got everything booked. There's no reason to, like, wimp out now. So... We just hate it, but we get down there and they're like hurricane warnings everywhere. So we're all obviously a little freaked out, but we're like, I mean, it's not that big a deal. We're not gonna be hit by the actual hurricane or anything. A couple days later, it's getting closer and closer, and we're like getting evacuation warnings. Like, not that we have to evacuate, but like warnings that there might be evacuation notices. So we're at this point we're pretty upset. We're like, we just spent all this money on this beach house and it's gonna get leveled to the ground if this hurricane hits, because we stayed on the actual beach. And the next day is like they're saying, all right, so the hurricane's not gonna hit bad enough to warrant evacuations, but it is gonna hit in some capacity. It's hitting up further up the beach, but you're still going to get a lot of wind and rain and stuff like that. So we're like, oh, okay, so I guess we're just going to have a boring day inside that day. No big deal. We've got our Switches. We'll just play Paper Mario. And the day comes, and the wind hits, and it's causing the largest waves I've ever seen. And funny enough, no rip currents. Like, we checked all the schedules and everything. There's no bad rip currents that day. It's just huge waves. And it hadn't even started raining yet. It was just very windy. So we both give each other a look, and we give each other a smirk. And we're like, we're going to get in so much trouble, but we're going out there. So we grab our, like, boards to go, not surf, but, like, the boogie boards to just ride around with. And we get out there, and the waves are twice as tall as us, and we're both about 6 foot. So there's probably 12-foot waves that we're just staring up, and we're like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. We don't even worry whatsoever about how these waves are affecting us until just 20, 30 minutes later, we are beat by these waves. We keep getting flung up the beach. We laugh, we run back in, get flung up the beach. It's just an endless cycle. And we get out there, and we're both so tired, we just can't feel the need to swim back because we're fighting these waves the whole time. So I come up with the bright idea. I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to get on the boards, and we're going to try to fling ourselves with this wave. And we're successful. This 12-foot wave comes in. I yell for us to go. We hop on the boards, and it takes us all the way back to the beach. And then the rain hits, and the rain feels like knives against our skin. So we're charging back up the beach. The sand's getting all wet. We're getting hit by this knife-like rain. And my family is on the porch just watching as we're scrambling our hardest to get back up to the house as we're like just getting pierced by the rain. But no, I learned my lesson about surfing in the hurricane. That's I don't recommend. I mean, I recommend it for 15 minutes.
It was like freaking the waves are like, oh, it's fine, whatever. They hate you. It's a wall, man.
Oh yeah,
it is ridiculous.
It's nothing to mess around with.
It is violent.
Like, especially where there wasn't rip currents, we weren't gonna mess, or we were okay with messing with it. But even without the rip currents, when you get out there and you're getting battered around like that, your body gets physically worn out, and you're just like, okay, I can't do it anymore. Yeah, it. And you know, we've been in a few hurricanes. You're just fighting for your life out there in the surf, just praying.
Oh yeah, easily, dude. It's because then it becomes like fun, and it's like this. Yeah, it's. I don't think I've ever been on the beach in a hurricane, but I've been like in the middle of a hurricane outside, tying down a. That was an event and a half.
Tying down what?
I thought tying down a grill.
Oh my gosh.
It was a freaking moment, dude.
I'm sure. Why were you tying down a grill in a hurricane?
Because it kept trying to blow over, and my dad's like, we got to take care of it. So he's like inside. I'm like, I'm gonna go stand outside and look at the rain. It was violent. It hurt. I don't know. There's something like I remember something hit me, and like, what was that? Look, and there's a on my arm like a later. It was just like bright purple, and I'm like, did a freaking like bird hit me? It hit me so hard.
The bird gets blown right into. I think the bird was just as scared as you were. Like, what did I just hit? Was that a rock?
Where did I hit? I thought you were gonna tell when you said storm. I thought you were gonna tell the story of when we were driving back this time. And it was pouring rain, and we almost got crushed by a semi as you were freaking.
That's a good one
toast
too.
Stick.
So where Ethan lives in West Virginia, we usually meet his family about halfway between where I live in Tennessee and then where he lives in West Virginia. And on the way back, we're on the interstate, and it's one of the 3 lanes. And we had just stopped at Sonic not too long ago, so I had gotten food. I think both of you guys had gotten food somewhere else, so I was still eating, and I just got a bunch of French toast sticks because I was in a French toast mood. And I'm just chomping down on these sticks. I eat one every couple minutes. They're keeping me going. Eli was riding with us. He was already in the back seat asleep, and Ethan is not really paying attention in the front seat. He's just kind of messing on his phone or something. And I'm barreling down like 80 miles an hour down the interstate, and there's a semi next to us, and it turns its signal on, but I'm already well past the back of the semi. So I'm like, okay, well, he knows I'm here. I'm not worried about it. It's not like I can, and we're in awful pouring rain, like rain that I could like fling off the road because of how wet it was. And I was just like, oh, well, I mean, he knows that I'm here. I've got my lights on and everything, so he sees me. And just as I'm thinking that thought, he starts merging onto my lane. And here I am, the wheel in one hand, a French toast stick in the other, just barreling 80 miles down the interstate. And I everybody's not paying attention except for me. So I look at the semi and I'm like, well, guys, it's been real, and it's still merging. So I take the French toast stick hand, I shove the French toast stick in my mouth and start honking the horn. Just as I'm about to like go off the side of the road, the semi starts going back over, and Eli slept through the whole thing, didn't know what was happening, so he wakes up. No. Wait, did he not?
No, we were both awake. I remember we said we looked at the frickin' semi, saw it getting closer. We just looked at each other and said nothing. We're just accepting that this is it. This is the absolute end.
That's it. And then the semi driver dared to flip us the bird as we're driving by him. So Eli, in his spiteful state, flips him 2 birds.
Like we were any cause of the problem there.
Yeah, that was definitely our fault.
And it was like crazy rain. Like it was kind of like raining before. Then all of a sudden there, it was just like this heavy, thick rain hitting us. It was nuts.
Yeah, dude should have known that I was too busy eating my French toast sticks. I didn't have time to deal with whatever he was trying to sell.
Seeing you just like home, and kept driving. It was ridiculous.
Wow. Well, I think that'll do it for the random word stories for now. I think we've got some good ones out of that. It's always fun jogging your memory with stuff like that. Like, you don't remember. It's always, you remember one specific word and you're like, oh, that's so funny. And then break out into a story.
Especially with stuff we've done together, but also just in life. Because I feel you and me both have had very weird experiences in life and had like weird stories come out of them.
Oh, yes. So many. Speaking of weird stories, I want to take this time to talk about some funny work stories because I've got some lined up. Literally, just this week is just so full of them. And my favorite so far is the Tennessee college football game was going on the other night, and those are my favorite shifts to work. Nobody comes in. I work at Lowe's, and I do the internet pickup stuff. Nobody places orders or comes to pick them up or even really comes into the store during the Tennessee games. It's like national holiday level of importance. Like, everybody is staring, glued at their TVs. And it was the Alabama game, too, and they're basically not...
Dude,
they're nuts. Big rivals, so everybody was super excited about this game, and I was super excited that I wasn't gonna have to deal with people for 8 hours of my life. So most of the shift is super boring, and we got a manager named Jeff, and Jeff is a fantastic manager, but he's always wanting us to stay busy if we can. And he will give us tasks to do, be them short or long tasks, and he always just tries his best to keep everybody busy. Unless you catch him in a really good mood, and then he doesn't really care. Luckily, we caught him in a good mood, so he didn't care too much about he gave us a few tasks to do, but after those, he didn't really have much else for us to do. So, in mine and my coworker Brandon's infinite wisdom, we thought, we're going to go to the break room and watch the end of this football game. Neither of us care much about football whatsoever, but we're thinking, oh, he never goes in the break room. The managers never go in the break room. We'll be fine back there. And we go back there, and there's like 40 seconds left in the game. They're tied 49-49, and I'm like kind of getting into it. I'm like, this is super cool. They haven't won against Alabama in a very long time. So, I mean, it's nice for the people around us that actually care about football. And Brandon's playing on his phone. He doesn't care whatsoever about the football game. He just wants to sit down for a few minutes. And we're getting to the last few seconds of the game, like the defining moments of how this game's going to end. And I hear the door swing open behind us, and we're sitting there glued to the TV. And I just know by the footsteps coming in that door that Jeff just walked back here while we're not doing our job and just sitting down in the break room. And my thoughts were, maybe if I don't look at him, he won't say anything to me. So I stay glued to the TV. But then as soon as the door opens, Brandon swings his head around, and I'm like, dang, he just killed my plan. Now we're going to have to talk to him. And Brandon looks back at Jeff with the most wide eyes I've ever seen. He looks like a deer in the headlights. He's scared out of his mind because he's never done anything like this. Like, he hasn't worked there as long as me. I do stupid stuff like that all the time. He hasn't, and he's afraid he's going to get in trouble. And Jeff walks in and gives Brandon the same look with the wide eyes, just super surprised. And he sees that the ball game's on, and he looks back at Brandon, and he's like, "What are you looking at me for? I'm not on TV." And Brandon just laughs it off. And Brandon looks at me with those wide eyes, and I just shrug. I'm like, "What do you want me to do? I'm not gonna. I'm watching the game." And then Jeff starts asking. He's like, "You guys don't have anything going on right now?" I'm like, "No, I just wanted to catch the last few seconds of this game." And he's like, "Oh, okay. What game is it?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's the Tennessee game. It's been on all day. It literally been on like 5 hours back here." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Who's winning?" I'm like, "It's tied. The score's right there." And he's like, cool. Could you guys do me a favor?" And then he gave us another task to do. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "You can finish the game, but after that, I need you to get down a pallet of water." And I'm like, "Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for letting me finish this." Because Brandon was still freaked out.
No clue.
I have no idea. He just didn't know what was going on. Even though, like, he had been back there all day long. He just didn't care about the game whatsoever until he saw us back there. And he's like, "What are they doing? They're not doing their jobs again?"
That's funny. It doesn't help. Okay, the whole goal, you're right, is you just don't look at them.
Yeah, I thought it was like a T-Rex situation.
Doing something wrong.
I thought it was like a T-Rex situation. Like, if I don't make a sound, he won't notice me.
I don't look at him, he won't see me.
Clever girl. He comes in with a shotgun.
Who the hell is making all that racket?
"Sorry, sir, that's Alabama."
Alabama.
Well.
Did you see what they did at the Tennessee-Alabama game?
Oh, yeah, they tore the goalposts down.
Dude,
That's so funny.
one of my friends and his dad were there. They were right next to the group walking with it.
No, dude,
It was the craziest
I'm
thing.
friends with a lot of people that go there. They carried the goalpost. I know people that carried that thing.
I saw how they carried it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got friends that were part of that whole operation, and
That's so
God
fucking
bless them for
crazy.
doing that. There's two sides. There's people that are
I
like...
can't even imagine what that took to get it out of the ground and
It was impressive. I like watching the people just swing on it as hard as they can, trying to get it out. It's hilarious.
It's like what happened in Philly after they won the Super Bowl. Didn't they win the Super Bowl? Yeah, they did. When they won the Super Bowl and they like tore down lampposts outside of the freaking stadium. Or like I think one person flipped a car with some people or something. Like it was like they lost their mind, and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah,
That's just Philly for you.
Crazy. Yeah, pretty freaking much.
You got any fun work stories?
I mean,
You want to talk about the palette with the was it chili? Or what?
Which one? What do you mean?
Salsa? Didn't you
Oh,
spill a bunch of salsa or something?
I didn't spill a pallet. It was one case.
Oh,
If
just
I
one
spilled
case.
A pallet, I probably would have been like, "Yeah, you gotta pay for that."
Yeah, son. We're not
No.
gonna have you anymore.
So, okay, so I started working at Walmart in the winter, and I like being cold, so I don't dress that warm. But the issue is my hands get cold extremely fast. I'll be warm, but my hands are like ice cold. And so with that, also your motory skills get slow. So I went through this phase of my hands kept messing up, and I kept like messing up. So I dropped like a box of pasta that exploded. There was a bottle of wine that blew up. That wasn't my fault, but it was who I was working with fault. But so this was like my fifth day fully working, not under training. I'm out in the open type thing. I go to grab this jar of tomato sauce. I can see it in the back. I accidentally grabbed a second one with it and like squeezed together these two jars, and there was one that was like kind of in between them. It came out at full speed. It hit me in the chest. It fell on the ground and just exploded. All on my shoes, on my pants. It was just on the ground, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
It's the Walmart war zone.
There's glass everywhere.
It's like that scene from Saving Private Ryan. You drop one case of salsa, and everything just goes to hell. Like
it did, dude. Because in my other hand, I'm holding a whole case wrapped of like marinara sauce that I'm balancing on my like hand and arm. This just happened, and I can't get my arm out because my hand was stuck behind the side. I'm like, I can't move, and I don't know what to do. Luckily, one of my friends was working down the aisle a little bit more, and he helped me, and then we got like a friggin' broom and a mop to clean all the glass and salsa, or marinara salsa.
That's crazy.
Another work story is a very different kind of work story. So, about me, my hair... So I am. What did you say? How tall am I, Jacob? Like I'm over.
Do you not know how tall you are? Have you been to a doctor? They usually tell you that thing. Has mommy not measured you against the wall in a while?
First of all, don't hate on that. That happened a few months ago, so back off. Anywho, so I'm 6 foot, but I'm a little taller. So I am all torso. My hair is like, it's down to my ass pretty much. I have very long hair as a man. So I get a lot of like people saying, oh, I love your hair. It's cool. It makes you feel good. The issue is old ladies that think they can just like, touch my hair and stuff, which I don't care, but it's kind of odd when I'm like working and they're like feeling my hair and I'm like, okay. Because like you should ask. Like I don't care if you touch me. I'm a touchy person, but it's like, just don't touch my hair. So
they just start yanking on it. Is this real? Is this actually?
Right.
Is this part of your actual hair?
Wait,
are you the Messiah reborn?
So I'm working in the freezer section, which is like I'm stocking Marie Calendar meals. Like there's no, I like was just flying, dude. So this lady comes up behind me. She's like, "Oh, I love your hair." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." We talked about it a little bit. And she's like, "Can I feel it?" And I'm like, "Sure." It's a weird question, but I don't care. She missed my hair. For some reason, she didn't go to like feel mid-back. She went all the way to like the end of my hair. Missed all my hair. Just grabbed my ass cheek by mistake and let go. And it just went, "Thank you, it's very pretty," and then just walked away. And I'm like, what just happened?
Oh, that is the finest ass I've seen in this Walmart to date.
Dude, I was just like, what just
son,
happened?
You need to cut your hair. It's obscuring that voluptuous piece of meat on the back of your body. The curtain call has ended, son. Rise them curtains and show off what God gave you.
But
Lord.
dude, it was my friend. My friend was behind me, and he says he turns to just see an old lady grabbing my ass and then walking away. He's like, "What just happened to you?" And I don't know.
I don't know. I need therapy after that one.
I was so just like, what is going on? Like, I was shocked. It was hilarious.
I have not had that happen specifically.
Really, you haven't had that?
No. I only men grab. No, I just have not. I am very like clear body language wise about don't touch me. I might hit you if you punch or if you touch me whatsoever. So I think customers get that vibe too. They're like, okay, I'm gonna stay. Only a few people have ever like made physical contact with me at like customer wise at work, and it's usually just a pat on the shoulder or back as thanks, and I just kind of like flinch and I'm like, oh, okay. But no, I've had several weird conversations with people in general. One of my favorites is back when I was a cashier. The old ladies were like super nice. They were always just like flirty, and they were just like telling me how cute I was, asking if I had a wife or girlfriend. And the second I would say no, they'd be like all over, like, "Oh, well, you should come help me install this." If they bring it up like a washer or something, I'm like, "Haha." I don't. It's like, like I don't know anything about any of that. And she's like, "Oh, it'd just be nice to have the company." And I'm like, "Well, how about your husband?" So, my favorite is this woman was not, like, she was definitely in her 50s or 60s, was not subtle about it whatsoever. I'm just checking all her stuff out, and I ask her if she found everything all right, and she's like, "Now that you're here, I have." And I'm just like, okay, we're getting right into it then. I've still got to check all this woman's stuff out, so we got so much more to do. And then I'm like, haha, well, thanks. And then she's like, "What time do you get off?" And I'm like, okay, well, which I probably got off at 10 or so, but I'm like, not until after midnight. And she's like, "Oh, I was about to say we could go grab some dinner." And I'm like, "Thank you. I'm flattered, but I'm okay." And she's like, "Well, are you sure? I mean, I can bring you something here." And I'm like, "No, I'm not hungry." She's like, "Do you go on lunch break?" I'm like, "Nope, no lunch break today."
They don't let me eat.
Nope, they don't. And then she's like, "Well, what? Give me your number." And I'm like, "Okay." And I just read off a bunch of random numbers. And she's like, "I'll text you, sweetie," and then leaves. And I'm just like, what happened? Like,
what have I done?
She can't take the hint. She can't take any of the hint.
Jacob is some old lady eye candy.
Oh, I'm some old lady eye candy, all right. The first night I have him over, I'm going to show him my Coke bottle collection.
You have that?
No.
Oh, I was like, why do you have a Coke bottle collection?
Oh, wait till she comes over and sees my VHS collection.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my VHSs.
Disney VHS collection.
You want to watch Bambi on the VHS? No,
that's so ridiculous.
Luckily, I don't interact with people enough in what I currently do to have those kinds of interactions. But I do get a lot of it at customer service. And somebody one day was being mean to who I consider my work sister. And I was like, I was in one of those moods where I'm like, I'm not going to take this today. And the second they yell, it was some like probably 4, 5, 5 little old men. And he was trying to act all tough, even though my work sister is probably 5'8" or 5'9", and he was still trying to act all tough and mad at her. And I walk up and I walk next to her. I'm like, "Is there a problem, sir?" And he just scoffs and leaves. And she, and I'm like, "Well, I didn't think it was going to be that easy, but well, that worked." But yeah, I get to work very closely with customer service, so I get to hear a lot of those awful conversations. They get treated so poorly, especially by the old people.
I know, dude, it's awful. I have a story kind of like that. Okay, so at work, so I'm tall, right? At work, there's these two dudes I work with that make me kind of short, because they're just these tall, skinny dudes or whatever. So we're out there, we're loading this guy's car with groceries. It took 3 of us because he did a massive order. So he asked to talk to the frickin', what's it called?
Manager?
Yeah, that's the word, manager. And she is like, she's not even 5 foot, dude. She is this tiny chick. She's like my age, super nice, and he is just like chewing her out. And we're just like, Because we didn't have one of his like 186 items type crap.
Oh yeah,
And
that
he's
stuff's
like
awful.
yelling at her. And so I just kind of walk up and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like saying, like, well, it's, it's not us. It's just we don't have supplies or whatever. One of the dudes I work with just walks over and says, get in your car. I'm like, okay, calm down. And he says, get in your car before I put you in your car. He just got in his car and left. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on right now. This is a very elevated like situation.
That's borderline like aggression and borderline flirtation at the same time. Like, get in there before I put you in there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pick you up and put you in your car. Oh my!
Because I'm not a very like trying to be all like hard ass kind of person, but I'm dealing with like West Virginia country boys that are just like
Oh yeah.
ready to fight everyone, and I'm like, I'm just here to be happy. It's fun though. It's ridiculous working there.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine working at Walmart because I mean I work with hardware and stuff, but that's where it ends is hardware. I can't even imagine
Right.
people getting upset because their favorite milk is out of stock
Oh,
or
dude, you
something
can't even
similar to that.
imagine
Yeah.
how great it is. I've had I had this one time. So this lady came in, and she's like, "Do you have any of the Yoohoo boxes, like the chocolate milk boxes?" And I'm like, "I don't see any here. I don't think we have any in stock." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Do you know when you might have more?" And I was like, "No, just because it's a very random item that I didn't even know we really had." And she starts telling this story of how her son, who has autism, loves the box kind. It's like his favorite thing. It's whatever. I'm about to start crying in the middle of an aisle because I'm like, we don't have them. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have. I immediately sprint to the back room. I'm just searching. So, juice and water, we have like 6 or 7 pallets a day of them because we go through it so much. I'm like scouring every pallet. I look and I find on like the middle of this one, perfectly right there, I just like cut out a little box shape. I pull it out and I am sprinting, just looking for this lady. I'm like, where are you? I want to give you this. She's at the front register. And I am full sprint. I'm a big man. So I am running with this Yoohoo. I look like a psycho. I'm wearing a Walmart vest, sprinting with Yoohoo. It looks like I'm stealing a case of Yoohoo. And I give it to her, and I am so out of breath. I started getting lightheaded. I almost passed out. Because when we still had to do masks, so I got super out of breath, and I couldn't breathe in. And I'm like, lady, I'm sorry, but I'm about to pass out. I was like, I'm sorry, it's just the mask and the running, but you're welcome. Have a nice day. I was just dead right there in front of her.
You were her savior that day. She looks upon you in such a good light, I'm sure. She's just like, and the man, he brought the milk. He came running down the aisle. I saw him from a mile away. He was sprinting at full speed to get the Yoohoo boxes. You were like a hero to that son now, I'm sure, when she told your tale.
I felt so bad, and I'm like, I have to find it. When I did, I felt so relieved. But it's like, because you never know, like, because sometimes they have trouble understanding what be somewhere type thing. So it's like, okay, they're Yoohoo. So I'm like, okay, I gotta find it. And luckily, it was like the biggest case of Yoohoo I've ever seen. It's like a freaking 48 pack. I'm like, yeah, you'll be good for a little while.
Yeah, she's not coming back for the Yoohoo boxes for a little bit.
Exactly.
That's crazy. I think I actually remember drinking those when I was a kid. Like out of the box?
Yeah, totally. When I was a kid, not, recently at all.
Not right now. Slurp.
Not actively drinking them. I'm actually drinking mango and orange juice.
No, the last time I remember what happened the last time I had a Yoohoo. It's such a funny story too, because I was at my ex-girlfriend's house and I wasn't the type to ever like raid the kitchen for anything. She would just like if she was hungry, she would offer I could have whatever I wanted. And at that point I'm like, well, time to get raiding. So I'd just scour around, see what's in there. And I'm going through the refrigerator, and there's not a lot of drinks in there. I usually just grab a water or something, and there was a like glass bottle of Yoohoo, and I'm like, ooh, Yoohoo. And I knew it was a glass bottle, so I'm like, it's somebody's. I'm not going to take that. And she's like, oh, you want that? You can have it. And she grabs it, and I'm like, no, that's somebody's. And she's like, oh, no, it's been in there for a while. It's not. It's like nobody's going to drink it. And I'm like, are you sure? I mean, it's one of the nicer bottles. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's fine. You can drink it. So I start drinking it, and I'm probably halfway through this Yoo-hoo. Her stepdad comes home, and I hear him open we're downstairs in the basement. I hear him just start yelling, like, and her mom was named Tracy. And she's like, Tracy! And Tracy yells, yeah? And he's like, where'd the Yoo-hoo go? At that moment, I look down at my hand. I'm like, "Oh no!" And then my ex looks over at me, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine." And he's like, "Who drank the Yoo-hoo upstairs?" And,
it is obviously not fun.
And so what I did was I just hid the bottle, and he comes down the stairs, and he's like asking her like, "Did you drink the Yoo-hoo?" And she's like, "No, I don't remember seeing a Yoo-hoo." And then he looks at me, and he's like, did you drink the Yoo-hoo? And I'm like, no, sir. Haven't had a Yoo-hoo since I was a kid. And he just goes, well, all right. I don't... He's just so confused at this point. He's like, I thought I had one in there. And then I continued the Yoo-hoo drinking. It was a great night. That was so funny. I've never heard a grown-ass man so upset over a Yoo-hoo.
I mean, dude, the guy's probably grown up with Yoohoo. He finally was like, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to break out that bottle. And you came and stole it. That's hilarious.
He's been saving that for like a work promotion or something. Like he finally got promoted at work. He's like, I can't wait to celebrate with that Yoohoo in the refrigerator.
It's like a bottle of champagne to him.
I can't wait to pop it.
Been waiting for this.
He's been saying it's like the last gift of a dying family member. Like, drink this Yoohoo. When the time comes, and the time came, and here I am sipping it down. It was delicious. A Yoo-hoo that's not yours tastes better than a Yoo-hoo that is. That's your words of wisdom for the day.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on my thigh.
Well, I think that does it for this episode. We've been running a little long.
Right, we have. I didn't realize what time it was.
Yeah. But hey, we can always come back, and we will. We'll be back for the next episode sometime in the near future. This is the Wisecrack Jacob.
And the Wolf Ethan.
And we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.